This is the first system of its kind directly threatening our area in quite some time.
We are going to be dealing with record-setting flooding in multiple regions across the state of Texas.
I have no choice but to issue a mandatory evacuation.
We've been through all of the prior floods because we've been here 25 years, and this is the first time we ever had water actually get into our lawn, much less our house.
I guess what matters is that we're okay.
I didn't know him before I got here.
We met
on the road coming here.
They just showed up, and they're just wonderful.
A cavalry of people, it looked like white horses coming.
Texans are always willing to help each other, and that's the spirit of Texas is the spirit to help.
Right now, Texans are being tested. 1 month ago, Hurricane Harvey hit Houston hard, but destruction does not define us. We are still standing. It was the greatest rainfall disaster for this city in history. Think about that.
So we're on the right-hand side of that rotation.
Yeah, which is the worst place to be.
It is.
Saturday about 9:30, just looking at the radar and how deep red it was.
Wow, listen, that is really coming down there.
It just sat, and the level and the amount of rain per hour was astronomical, and it just sat.
We have always been known as a community where neighbors help neighbors. So those of you who have boats and high water vehicles, we need your help.
Orlando and his family here out this afternoon after the request from the county judge.
Neighborhoods with water up to wherever.
Anybody in there? We are here to assist and give aid.
And people desperate to get out and getting on boats.
We've saved probably 150, 200 on this boat alone, plus there's hundreds of other boats out here. It's just amazing the outpouring of people that are willing to help.
And you see children being handed to rescue crews. Lives destroyed, lives interrupted.
I grabbed a pair of pajamas, clothes for 2 days, and said, let's go.
Lives turned upside down. All over the city, not just one area, not just part of an area, all over the city.
There are still hundreds and hundreds of folks who need to get to higher ground.
First it was evacuation.
The good news here, as you can see, there is a full court press of first responders.
Then it was the shelters. That became a scene unto itself.
In the Georgia Brown, they've been offered food, sleeping equipment, clothing, medical services, as we seek to transition them to a better place.
This mass of humanity that is displaced and suddenly has to be taken care of.
You see mothers just curled up on cardboard with their babies.
And their stories were incredible. I walked 3 hours in high water to get back to my family. The roof caved in. These guys came in boats and they picked us up and they got us out of there.
This has been an unprecedented storm, a lot of rain falling in the entire region, not just the city of Houston, but in the entire region.
If they don't release it, you go over the banks and they have no control then.
We were on the brink of the entire city being swallowed if those dams had burst.
We have never seen water this high. We have water in some locations going into the second stories of homes and the second story of apartment buildings.
That's why they were releasing water from the reservoirs. For a couple of days, they felt like we got this, we can manage it. In the process, we're gonna flood some homes because we're releasing water. Better to flood a few thousand homes than lose an entire city.
1 week after Harvey hit, and it still takes a boat ride to get to his house.
Some people will be out of their homes for months, maybe even a year plus.
Crews are working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The city has jumped in with both feet and said, let's get this city back on its feet. People are going to be getting their homes back together. Businesses are going to be starting up again.
starting today, they're all back together under the same roof.
As overwhelming as the tragedy is, the compassion is just as overwhelming.
We as moms can get out there. We might not be able to do drywall, but we can make sandwiches.
I really have been amazed at how people have responded, either by their donations.
We're all people together helping each other, and that's the way it should be all the time. It's a beautiful thing.
Their time.
My job is saving pictures. We've saved actually a lot of them.
Their prayers.
We say we worshiped and now we're doing workship.
As difficult as all of this has been, think of all the problems this thing created. It has been matched by the generosity and the compassion and the diligence of the people here, determined to overcome, to get the city back on its feet.
That's what makes our city great.
And you do that one person at a time, one neighborhood at a time, and eventually the entire city heals.
It should be called a city of help, because they are helping me and a lot of other people.
We will heal. Won't be easy, won't be quick, but we'll heal. And we'll learn lessons from this.
This storm has not redefined who we are. If anything, this storm has made us even stronger and prouder to be Houstonians.
You guys are amazing. Thank you. I mean that from the bottom of our heart.
They serve as our North Star, guiding us through the storm. Brave officers in blue saved thousands of lives. Here are their stories of service and sacrifice.
1, 2, 3.
It was apocalyptic.
The water was rising so fast still. It was literally moving cars down the service roads, down the roads coming at us.
It was as if it was the end of days. There was no other, you couldn't really wrap your mind around all that had transpired. And now knowing that we have a fellow officer in uniform that needs to be recovered, it's just like, what is going on?
All I saw was rushing water, like something I'd never seen before. And you think it's a river, but it's an apartment complex.
To be on the boats, rescuing people at eye level, and the things that you see, the conditions of homes, and the desperation on people's face. Unless you were there and you saw it, it's extremely difficult to go back and try to communicate what you've seen to anyone.
But some things are better left untold.
You don't have any control. And it's hard because it's family, and you want to do for them, and you tell them you're going to protect them. My sister called me, and she said that water was coming to her house, and she needed to evacuate. And even being a supervisor over that unit, I still couldn't get a truck to her. I had to put her in queue with all the rest of the calls that were coming, and I didn't have any other special powers.
I just happened to open my front door after watching a movie with my children, and as soon as I looked outside, it was all the way up to my door. And we had to be rescued off 517 in about 4.5 foot of water, and I had an 8-year-old, 10-year-old with me and my wife. and then we just started rescuing people along the way.
That's not something just everyone would decide to do. Help other people when your own life is suddenly underwater.
Well, I think you'd be surprised when things like that happen. I can pretty much speak from being a first responder for all these years. I know any of these guys here would. It's just what we're made of. That's what we do.
I put citizens first, and I work by myself later. I've been diagnosed with cancer a year and a half ago, so yeah, I battle that issue, but I go to work and I put that past me. It hasn't stopped me. I took a picture, I was like this, on the boat, and she was okay. She ain't gonna stop me, it's not my first rodeo.
All the help that the volunteers gave was absolutely incredible. We could not have achieved what this city achieved without it.
The amount of unity between the community and fire department, all first responders, EMS, police, and the citizens, Cajun Navy, we're all working hand in hand and for that one common goal to help save as many lives as we could.
This flooding event, hurricane, has brought out the best in humanity. It's brought volunteers together, people helping people. Why does it take that event for humanity to show that type of love towards one another? Help us as a police department by being kind to one another. The world should take a lesson from the city of Houston.
Okay.
Anything I can do to help, I'm just gonna do it.
An entire city of different people and cultures coming together to help each other out.
God bless you.
In the midst of the storm, scenes like this played out across Houston. We watch the best of what happens when we work to help one another.
We are just trying to bring you the situation here as our crews evacuate our own station. The station was taking on water. Our crews were moving upstairs at first, and then they eventually had to evacuate the building. So in the meantime, they had to have something broadcasting, and that was us. Mario Sandoval, the photographer I was working with, actually suggested, let's go over to the other side. Let's see what's over there.
Randy, there's a truck underwater. Let's go.
It was doing this job, and then all of a sudden, this driver needed to get out, and we were gonna have to figure out a way to do it at the same time. It felt like a lifetime.
And all of a sudden, I just hear her saying, there's a boat, there's a boat, there's a boat.
We have a boat coming.
And then I just see her dart off.
I'm gonna flag these guys down and see. Hold on just a second. Are you guys headed down to the truck right here? There's a truck driver stuck here in about 10 feet of water. The deputy had warned me that's where someone had died a year before in almost the exact same circumstances.
My father's a truck driver. So, seeing this man
trapped like that really hit home a little bit.
I feel like I can finally breathe. Kind of a sigh of relief. What went through your mind when you saw that water?
Lord help me. Lord help me.
To see him being pulled on that boat, to know he was safe, to see him on dry land. And I felt like we had been through this ordeal together.
I appreciate you.
This is gonna sound weird, but can I hug you? I'm so happy you're okay.
Can I get a hug?
That's so
Yes, we thank God for it.
Seeing him again, happy, healthy, dry, was wonderful.
My God, thank you. My God, and angel. I never forget you. Never forget you.
You got my number now. You call me if you ever need anything.
We watched that, live on TV when it happened because we were broadcasting a lot of your coverage, and then it went viral. I mean, the reaction I'm sure you got from that story.
How I found out that there was even any outside coverage of what had happened, my dad called and broke down, started crying. And that was big. That was big for me. What I did was documented, but there were a lot of other examples of heroism that didn't have a camera there that should be recognized as well.
In our darkest hour, as the waters continued to rise, so too did the people of East Texas.
When Houston needed help, we were there for one another. In the midst of the chaos, there is so much kindness. During our darkest hour, we see the true spirit of Texas.
It's Texas, everybody helps out people from Texas. That's just the thing that we do here.
People didn't hesitate to help one another, to risk their own lives. In our greatest times of need, we're there for one another.
First responders were great. They were talking to the boys and trying to kind of get them to escape the reality of things, telling them, oh, it's a fun boat ride, and, tell them things about the boat, and they're awesome. I can't say enough about the first responders.
It wasn't into our home yet, but it had just started to come up our walk. One of these guys from Louisiana with an airboat came by, said, hey, that's your last chance. So we said, all right, we'll take it.
All these people are trying to get out of their homes.
About how many people you think you've helped so far?
Man, I want to say about 40.
We saw them, I said, oh my God, I live like a mile and a half. I saw that, I said, oh my goodness, I got to get down here. I want to help out as much as I can, obviously.
You saw people of all colors, you saw people of all ages, of all faiths in the same situation. And none of that mattered.
This is about my 8th trip today, going back and forth, helping people, from elderly to young people, to animals. People needed help. I mean, we have to come together to help each other. If we don't, then who's going to help us? Make sure there's nothing in the water. Keep an eye on the water, Leandra.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for these guys that came and got us out.
These are all volunteers. This guy's not even from Houston.
I know.
He drove in.
I know, and I'm so thankful.
Whatever was there now is under the water. I feel like we lost everything, but we still have each other.
I was so in awe of not only the number of people who responded, but the way people responded with such compassion, with hugs and open arms, and holding people's children and comforting everyone.
Her parents' favorite melody, a simple gift of calm in the storm.
I could hear it was kind of getting weird, but it was just something normal to do.
That's what personifies us as Houstonians and our city.
These kids have been through a lot. This city has been through a lot. And to be here, just giving a helping hand, that's what the Globetrotters are all about.
We are just so blessed to live in a community where we just have people with generous hearts.
Everything's bigger in Texas, and seeing this the past few weeks, it's so true.
There's this resilience. There's something about not being set back because of this, but moving forward, and moving forward with a certain kind of strength and determination to not only just get it done, but make it even better.
I just want to give you a hug.
Thank you.
God bless you. We're in this together. We're gonna be okay, all right? We're gonna be okay.